Tumultuous spirits creep up on me in my memory and keep me from an evangelical peace that I think, with all the obstacles I had to go through in my life, I much deserve. Cursed with a sorrow that eats me from dusk till dawn. Melancholic guilt distorts and consumes my feeble mind in this quietest hour. Alone, I am, living in a rundown, sloppy room, just waiting for the day that my miserable corpse enters its lonesome tomb. Sometimes I feel like a killer whale inside the skeleton of a small fish that's traveling around the deep blue with other fish that are going about their day to fetch food. When I get hungry, I never eat them. I just think about eating them to test the power I have over them. But these fish seem to have power over me. The power to make me incapable of ever fathoming the confidence of their external appearance. Most of them swim at all hours without a care in the world about their security, knowing that they could be attacked by a shark at any second. Am I that shark? It's like everyone's programmed to land at a destination 24 hours a day. I feel like I'm programmed to stay where I comfortably belong. In uniform, wherever the general takes me along. I yearn to keep my thoughts and emotions sacred and hidden with undeviating visage and power, but my mind can't erase what I saw. I can't ever find closure for myself at all. What these hands can do can make my happiest and darkest dreams come true. I rue the day that I joined up thinking it would bring me wealth. But rue is something unruly to say. I earned honor and respect from it, to say the least. But now my actions chew at my mind like it's having a feast. A beast. That's what you had to be emulated to if you were to be put into my shoes. But what other choice was there for a failed artist like me? An artist living in misery. The memories haunt me from what I've seen and done. All I think about is the blood of the poor bastards that I put to rest in the most horrible of fashions. Guns. Knives. Dynamite and lies. All I think about is the blood and the severed limbs of innocent people. Mothers, fathers, children, wives, all in an anguished state and under duress. In circumspection, I was signing those papers. Head to boot camp in a horrible fret about what I endeavored into. But once I left, brotherhood was thoroughly met. I was confident in my sense of righteousness and meaning to the universe. Felt like everything was placed so elegantly in the palm of my hand. After all the roughness of my trajectory's hassle, I was finally the king of my own castle. Maybe protecting a country didn't seem that all obscene for me. My vile mentality became a confident reality for me. But now it pains me to no reasonable end. The 3 years of savage fighting and primitive behavior pained me. We painted the streets of the Middle East red every time a singular bullet whizzed by me. The thought of death was incomprehensible beyond me. The bunkers of the Middle East were disastrous, and I never laid my pained head peacefully on the mattress without the thought of ambush on my mind. So I strenuously stayed up, looking at the night sky, praying to God that I wouldn't die. What really scrambled my frail brain was within the first year of combat. One time in that year, before the night sky dived into light, we were blindsided by the Taliban. 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 hours before light. It was dark, and my eyes were stark from voluntarily keeping a paranoid watch. I was on the tower at this hour. Traveled to the bunker to get some water. That's when my tired eyes led me to within 10 yards of it. I was in a daze until I saw a man strapped with a C4 running to the bunker, bursting into a bloody mess. The blast destroyed half the place, but my men were inside of it. So I rushed in like a tiger protecting his cubs. When I got to the damaged place, I saw my comrades. My broken, bloody, and banged up comrades sitting there. In shock. And in the highest of pains. I rushed in to help and fell into a puddle of blood. It ended up killing 2 of my comrades in there. One of them, our team's beloved captain, and the other, my beloved best friend. I got to my post quickly. I had to prepare. I got my sniper. I saw a few Talibans hiding behind a van they rode up on. So my anger made me grab a grenade launcher so I can launch it in a fiery blast and burn them all over to Satan himself. I blasted away till the canister was out of whack, destroying the van. Then I began my sniper attack. I fought the remaining men. I did the job. That was all of them that early morning. It lasted till the sun finally peaked. Me and the other soldiers watched over the sandy Afghanistan land. I saw the dead bodies out there. I scoped through the sneaky weapon of death to see if there were any other egregious soldiers trying to harm me or my men. I looked up at the moonlight, saw it dim. The light cast on the sandy land. The sky turned blue. And that was my cue to come out on guard. I looked out. Not a single sound tingled my earlobe other than the sounds of gasps for air. That's when reality hit me harder than a freight train. These hapless souls were barely men. None of them looked a second older than me. All of these kids led into a world they should have never been a part of or partaken in. They all had these petrified looks on their faces, and were all facing towards me with the facial expression like, "What have you done to me?" I spotted one soldier laying there on the ground. He had a gnash in his stomach and was bleeding out profusely from it and seething. I elevated to my knees ever so gently to get a closer look at his paled face. He mumbles to me something in Arabic, but I couldn't fathom. I nodded to him, teary-eyed as if to approve of his words of Allah. Then, he took a dull knife off the ground and tried to strike me, but with a weak attempt. A fellow soldier comes up to me, tells me to kill him. I said I couldn't. Another soldier comes up to me, tells me to put him out of his misery. I said I couldn't. Another soldier tells me I should avenge my team's death. I said I couldn't. Another one comes up, then another one, then another one. I keep saying I couldn't until I could. So I stabbed him in the beating heart. Just like that. I saw the life leave his face. Terrified, but in a way, fascinated. What did I do with these hands of mine? The other soldiers go around shooting and bayoneting the other bodies. So I took out my pistol, scanned the field, and yelled, "No prisoners allowed!" And put bullets in all the rest of the bodies, dead and alive. We all shot dying or dead kids with a sense of accomplishment. I keep telling myself that the dead enemies out on that field chose what they were getting into, and so did I. I just happened to get out of it alive. This is what I say to keep myself sane. I was a sensitive human being, coming straight out of society into a war zone. Now I'm a trained killer living amongst civilized people who bottle up the dreadful instincts that are useful for them on the field. I'm around an environment my brain's not accustomed to anymore. I sit in my apartment and think about the many dreadful things I can do to people, but also the many good things. I studiously stay up to think about which tactics I can use for or against people. Functionality is key, and mine is broken without a spare, as you see. I'm surrounded by the memories I have of war, and they transcend to here. When I look at people, it's hard not to see the gore. I went through 8 different partners. I thought that their company would help me breathe and help me succeed here, but all they do is just leave me here because they don't understand me or what it was like over there. I can never relax or be at peace because in the military, I was always the one who kept my night owl glasses on, an exceptionally aware person I built myself up to be, to say the least. Now when I hear a peep in my sleep, I won't go back to it, you see? I'd rather stay with my grim eyes about what I saw and what I did. But here, this civilized world is dramatically different from the borderline primitive world that I had to live in for a small but substantial portion of my life, because living in a war zone will compel you to join in things you would only see in hell. The thought, sight, smell of it will destroy you deep down like a well till you don't want to think about it no more. The tell of what you felt. Yearning makes me so sore and sour every minute of every day for my below average brain. If I could somehow get this mental stain reprogrammed for me, I'll be tame. I'll be like I used to be, mentally able, sane. But unfathomable situations are unbearable for most human minds to sustain. Attainment would be a blessing come true. I'm too dangerous to be around myself most of the time. I can be unpredictable to the core. The rare times I go out by myself, I zone out and always think about the war, what troops are up to now, improving my future skill set for other wars. I have nothing here but my forlorn self. and it feels like nobody cares or wants to help. Everything is unbearable to the brittle bones of me. I'm sure other people feel like this. I even talked to some abandoned and alone, but hopeless, fameless, and shameless are my only attributes. I was a soft soul, soft as a feather. Warzone might not have been a proper fit for me. My emotion is saturated, and recall is unbearable. Maybe life is just really that terrible. I pray it's not.